Why are there so many conflicting advice about type 2 diabetes, on what you should eat, what you should do? My name is Charmaine and I'm the registered dietitian that helps people reverse type 2 diabetes, and in this video I'm going to break down the different camps of what people recommend for type 2 diabetes, what the pros and cons are, and I'm going to explain to you which one can actually help you reverse the root cause of type 2 diabetes. I have 4 categories here. Of course, it's not all encompassing, but it is the 4 main camps of advice when it comes to type 2 diabetes. So the first one is a low carb diet. Now this is very popular because type 2 diabetes itself, it is a disease of carbohydrate intolerance. So people are like, okay, if you can't tolerate carbohydrates, then just cut it out. And it's also very popular as weight loss diet. So what low carb does is that it lowers blood sugar, and there is no doubt that it can lower blood sugar, but doesn't mean that it's healthy, right? But it lowers blood sugar by cutting out carbs, right? So that's what a low carb diet does. This is probably the pro and quick weight loss as well. But the con of it is that with low carb diet, because it's so high in animal protein, it actually increases a lot of other problems as well. It increases all-cause mortality. There's actually research, long-term research about this. It also increases your risk of heart disease. Also, it increases cancer risks as well if you have a high intake of animal protein. And there's a lot of other things. It also is not the most beneficial for your gut health because of the lack of fiber, because of also the lack of fruits, vegetables. Some low carb diets also encourage you to have some vegetables, but it's still not enough because a lot of them still limit the grams of carbohydrate even in broccoli. So it's very tricky to make sure that you have enough fiber and enough other nutrients like vitamin C that's in fruits and things like that, unless you take supplements. One thing that I really want to encourage people is to really look at the diet in the whole and not look at, okay, I'll just take a supplement for this and I'll be fine, because you definitely want to get your nutrients, your vitamins and minerals from food. It has the highest bioavailability. So there's a lot of problems with low carb because it doesn't actually address the root cause of the diabetes, because the root cause of diabetes is insulin resistance. And I'm gonna flip this over a little bit just to explain to you what insulin resistance is. And if you already understand what insulin resistance is from my other videos, you can skip this part, but this is for those that don't know what insulin resistance is. So let's say you have muscle and liver cells. What usually it does, what your cells does to get the energy that it needs, is that it needs insulin to carry in glucose from the blood. This is, let's say this is the bloodstream, right? These are glucose. So they're like food for the cells, right? So this is a cell. So insulin usually transport glucose from the blood into the cells, right? But now there's fatty acids in the cells and there's insulin receptors. So what these fatty acids does is that it turns off the insulin receptors, and insulin isn't able to bring in glucose effectively from the blood into the cells, right? So this is when insulin resistance happen, because your cells become resistant to insulin because of these fatty acids. These are fatty acids. Now, insulin receptors are turned off. Insulin can't bring in glucose from the blood into the cells, and that's what causes high blood sugar, and that's what causes the symptom of type 2 diabetes. But this whole thing here is the root cause of type 2 diabetes. So what low carb diet does is that it just takes out the carbohydrates part. But the thing is, even if you take out carbohydrates, there's still glucose in your blood because your body actually breaks down food into glucose. So it breaks down protein into glucose, it breaks down fat into glucose. Unless you're in ketosis, which is another story here, but ketosis aren't meant for you to be on it for a long time because it's almost like an end game for your body. This is when your body's starving and it starts creating fat for fuel, but most of the time your body is in a state of glucose. So that's what low carb aims to do, is to cut out the carbohydrates so that you don't have that much glucose in your blood. That way you don't have to have high blood sugar. However, it never reversed the root cause of insulin resistance. There's still fatty acids in your cells. And that is why a lot of times a low carb diet is just a symptom-focused approach. Now, let's talk about intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting is also very popular, and the pro is there has been research that it can improve insulin sensitivity. And it is a form of calorie restriction as well, so it helps people lose weight. And of course, calorie restrictions also somewhat helps lower the amount of fatty acids that's in the cells and can also improve your insulin sensitivity. So that is one of the pros of intermittent fasting. And if you are going to intermittent fast, make sure that you do that at night. Research have shown that you have better results fasting at night rather than during the day. Now, the con of intermittent fasting is that it's not made for everyone. Two groups of people I don't recommend intermittent fasting for. One of them are people that are on strong diabetic medications. The reason why I don't recommend people who have strong diabetic medications, we have really low blood sugar. If you're not eating for a long time, the medications are pushing your blood sugar down and it can cause some complications around that. So that's something that I don't recommend. I also don't recommend to people who have a poor relationship with food. The reason why I say this is because sometimes intermittent fasting takes you out of the state of listening to your body. If you don't have a good relationship with food, if you find yourself prone to binging or overeating or stress eating, a lot of times intermittent fasting is not helpful because it actually doesn't teach you to listen to your body, to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, or to listen to your body hunger and fullness cues. And that is actually one of the most important things to maintain a healthy lifestyle, is to actually learn to listen to your body. So if you're someone that struggles with a healthy relationship with food, that's something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend intermittent fasting for. The third category is the low calorie category. Now, this is actually when reversing diabetes is first introduced by Roy Taylor. It's the 800 calorie diet, where he actually tested when people went through bariatric surgery versus people who don't go through bariatric surgery but still are on the bariatric surgery liquid diet, and he found that people are able to reverse diabetes that way. However, because it's a very low calorie diet, it's an 800 calorie diet, not a lot of people are able to sustain it. So a lot of people actually either regained their insulin resistance and it's hard to follow. So the low calorie diet, the pro is it actually can help you lose weight and then reverse diabetes, according to the research done by Roy Taylor. However, the con is it's very hard to sustain. And one of the biggest things that I would say also about a low calorie diet is that I've had clients that are able to lose weight by cutting down their calories, but their blood sugar is still high because if they're still eating high fat foods, sometimes your insulin resistance is still there. So even though they're able to lose weight, they aren't able to reverse their diabetes. That leads us to the fourth camp with plant-based diets. With a plant-based diet, it actually solves a lot of these different problems because it actually helps you lower blood sugar by addressing the root cause of type 2 diabetes. Low carb lowers blood sugar by addressing the symptom of it because it's just about the blood sugar. But what a plant-based diet does is that it lowers blood sugar by reversing insulin resistance. It helps you lower your blood sugar by helping your cells be insulin sensitive again. That's the best part. And the best part is you don't have to count calories. You also don't have to cut carbs, and you also don't have to starve yourself, while you still be able to create calorie deficit because fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes are all lower in calorie, but you'll also be able to eat till you're full, eat till you're satisfied, learn to listen to your hunger and fullness signal, and still be able to maximize weight loss and reverse insulin resistance. That is the reason why I'm such a big fan of helping people reverse type 2 diabetes with a plant-based diet. And as you can see, and if you've had type 2 diabetes for a long time, you probably have tried all these three other categories, and you realize it's not really sustainable. And when it comes to a plant-based diet, I think the con is a lot of people have this misconception that plant-based diet means eating rabbit foods for the rest of their lives, and they don't want to do that. But the truth is, no, you'll still be able to enjoy your favorite cultural foods, no matter if it's pasta or tacos or curry. You'll still be able to eat your own cultural foods and still be able to make it whole foods plant-based. And the best part is you don't have to do it 100%. And I think that's why I really like plant-based, because it actually creates a quota for you where you can still be flexible. You'll still be able to enjoy other foods even if it's not plant-based every once in a while, and that's what it's about. So I personally think that increasing your insulin sensitivity through eating whole foods plant-based diet, and it's not just my thinking, it's also what science show us, it's definitely something that's very beneficial in helping you improve your carbohydrate tolerance, improve your insulin sensitivity, and be able to help you keep type 2 diabetes reversed for the rest of your life. And if you want to learn more of what the science is and the research are behind with a whole foods plant-based diet, check out my free training. Link is in the description below, and I'm so excited for you to learn this new way of eating, because it is going to change and transform your life. And if you need some real life examples, on my YouTube channel there's also a playlist of people that I interviewed who are able to reverse their type 2 diabetes and get off diabetic medications through a whole foods plant-based lifestyle. They didn't do it 100%, but they're able to increase their flexibility and also be able to lower their blood sugar while still eating more healthy carbohydrates. So that's the magic of it. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.